Hi, my name is Marya Spont Lemus, and I am a teaching artist with 826 Chicago. In today's activity, we're going to identify things about our bodies and ourselves that are important to us and make us unique inside and out. We are all more complex than we appear to be on the surface, and writing is one way to explore that and also to express that. And today, we are going to share that through making zines or small books that are about us. For this activity, you're going to need something to write with. I recommend a pencil. You are also going to need a piece of paper. It could be this size, it could be smaller, it could be larger. I also recommend that you grab a few pieces of scrap paper, and that is basically just to jot down your ideas as we're going through the first couple activities before we make our final zine. To get us started, we're going to do an activity I like to call Magic Mirror. The first step is to take your hand and kind of just look at it as if it is a mirror. Or you could pick a spot on the wall or something else to look at. Probably don't pick an actual mirror. Now I want you to pretend. If this is a mirror, what are some of the things that you can see about yourself right off the bat? So for instance, I have glasses and they are bright pink, and I think that's something that a lot of people might notice. So that was mirror. The next round is close-up mirror. So we're going to take our same mirror, and this time, instead of just looking at kind of whatever's on our face or whatever we think is pretty easily noticeable about ourselves, I want us to take this mirror to examine other parts of our body. What does the back of your hand look like? Do you have any birthmarks on your arms? Are your feet the same size as each other? If you look more closely at your body, what else do you see? It's important to note that everything that we're noticing as part of close-up mirror is still on the outside of our body. It's still something that is external, even if it's something that we think people probably wouldn't notice. Finally, we have Magic Mirror. And with Magic Mirror, I want us to imagine that we can see deeper inside who we are. So with Magic Mirror, we can see things about our personality. We can see things that we believe. We can see things that are really important to us that maybe somebody walking by us wouldn't know. And they wouldn't know because it's internal, not external. So I want you to think, what deeper, invisible things about yourself can your Magic Mirror see? For instance, I can see that I am a very loyal person. I can see that I am very patient, especially with children, but not patient with other adults. There are also things that a regular mirror just can't know. How does it feel in my body when I run really fast? How does it feel to move in slow motion? To stretch my arms all the way up to the sky? Before we move on to the next part of our activity, go ahead and take a couple minutes to jot down some of the things that you noticed. You can do this on those little pieces of scrap paper, and you can just think of it as, what did you notice for mirror, for close-up mirror, and for Magic Mirror? We're going to use these ideas later. As I mentioned earlier, today we are going to make zines. And zine is pronounced sort of like the end of the word magazine. And a zine is essentially a tiny pamphlet or a tiny comic book that you make yourself. Many artists who are also activists will use zines to tell their own story about themselves, or to educate people about something, or to encourage or inspire action in some way. Zines are DIY or do-it-yourself and are a very inexpensive way to get your ideas out in the world. You can make a zine that you're planning to share with other people, or you can make a zine just for yourself. The zines that we make today will be about ourselves. So my zine will be about me, and your zine will be about you. The zines that we make today will be sort of like self-portraits, in that a self-portrait is a picture that you make of yourself. They'll be sort of like autobiographies, or a story that you tell about your life from birth until now. Our zines won't be quite like either of those things, but they'll be drawing on aspects of both. These zines will say something about who we are on the outside. So the mirror and close-up mirror rounds from earlier And they'll also say something about who we are on the inside, so the magic mirror round. Every person is made up of both visible and invisible identities, and both of those help make us who we are. Once you have your paper, we're going to fold it into a very simple 8-page zine. First, fold it lengthwise, or hot dog. Then fold it widthwise, or hamburger. Then fold each of those hamburgers in half towards the middle. Complex people, like complex writing, exist on a lot of different levels at the same time. Each level of our zine is going to be about a different level of who we are. I'll show each layer as I talk about it. We're going to leave the front and back covers alone for now. On each of the first 2 pages, when you open your zine, write one physical detail about yourself and something about that detail. So that's 1 detail per page for 2 pages. These would be mirror or close-up mirror details, or something that is still physical but less noticeable or obvious. Look at the notes you took earlier. Then select your 2 favorites, or the 2 most important, and maybe add a little more information to them. For example, I might write, "My bright pink glasses help me pay attention to the world around me." Or, "I can dance up a storm with my 2 different sized feet." Play around with the size, shape, color, etc. of your writing and where it sits on the page. The next level of your zine, the next 4 pages further inside, are the magic mirror level. These details should be about who you are on the inside, like details about your brain, or your heart, or your soul. Before you write your 4 details, you might think, what makes me who I am? What about who I am especially matters to me? For instance, I might write, "I always care," or "I give everyone a chance," or "I know all of my cousins' names." It doesn't necessarily have to be only positive. Like, I might write, "I can never do everything that I want to do in a day." Now go back to your front cover. Think about what you wrote inside your zine. What title do you want to give your zine? I might call mine "My Magic Mirror," or "My Body Book," or something else. If you want, you can add a mirror-level illustration. For instance, a drawing of your own face, or something else that's easy to notice. On the back cover, you can sign your name and write the date. Or you can write a quote of something that someone else might say about your zine, like, "This is a really interesting book about a really interesting person." Put any other finishing touches you want on your zine. Now that you've written it in pencil, you might want to trace over again in marker to make it more permanent or more colorful. You might want to add drawings and designs inside. Decorate or illustrate your zine. So this is my zine in progress. I'm not totally done yet, but you can see the cover, that first level, and the inside of my book. Sometimes the way that a book looks, or the way that we interact with it, has something to do with what the book is about. So sometimes the form of the book has something to do with the content of the book. Let's look back at the zines that we just made. On the outside of our zines are things that people might know about us, even if they don't know us very well. On the next level, we have things that are a little less noticeable or a little less known, but are still external, or still something that you can notice or observe from the outside. On the innermost level of the book, we have things about who we are on the inside, things that you couldn't know just from looking at the outside. All of those layers make up our books, and all of those layers make up who we are. Thanks so much for joining me for today's activity. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna go finish my zine.